Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of a pair of custom painted Adidas X16 Plus PureChaos. This is a shoe that was custom painted by Kickasso Customs in collaboration with World Soccer Shop, with the theme being the Undead, which you can pretty clearly see by the big zombie face on the right shoe and the hand poking from the ground on the left shoe. Now, of course, because this is still a regular pair of PureChaoses, they've just been custom painted, you will still get the extras that you would normally get, an extra set of comfort insoles, and of course the black perforated mesh string bag. Now the shoes, like I said, were custom painted. They did 5 pairs in total, which went up for sale and sold out pretty much immediately, so you can't get them anymore, unfortunately. This is one of the 5 pairs. Of the total 5 pairs, they were split up between size 9 and 10 US, so pretty limited in terms of sizing as well. And as far as the retail price is concerned, obviously this is a shoe that would normally retail for $300 US, and being that you do have the custom artwork on here, which does take quite a bit of time and effort, they retail for quite a bit more than the normal $300. So they're fairly expensive, but again, it's a custom painted product, one of 5, which is pretty cool. And being that they are custom painted, they are actually wearable, something that I will talk about a little bit later in the video. So in this video, we're gonna take a detailed look at the colorway itself. We're gonna talk tech specs, performance, take a look at the weight of the shoe, as well as take a look at how these things fit and feel on feet, because at the end of the day, they are still a pair of PureChaos shoes. Again, if you want to get a pair for yourself, unfortunately they are sold out, but if you aren't signed up for the SR4U mailing list, when custom stuff like this does become available, I always send it out to all of you guys the second that it does become available prior to selling out. So if you want to be kind of up to date on custom stuff that may become available in the future, there will be a link down below in the description to the SR4U mailing list. So be sure to go ahead and check that out. And with that being said, let's get right into the review. To start things off, let's take a closer look at all of the custom paintwork on these shoes. Now, of course, the theme here is the Undead, which you can pretty clearly see by the zombie head right here, then the classic zombie hand poking from the ground on the left shoe. One question I know a lot of you guys will ask is, can you just go ahead and paint your shoes with any design or color that you'd like? The answer to that question is yes, you can, but it's not necessarily going to work out as well as these, mainly when it comes to sticking to the actual shoe itself. Generally, if you spray paint a shoe, it'll chip off very, very quickly. The other thing that you have to keep in mind when you paint a shoe or alter the upper in any way in regards to color is that you'll void the manufacturer's warranty. So should something go wrong and you want to claim a warranty defect with your shoe, if you painted the upper, if you painted the sole plate, it's going to be denied. You voided your warranty, you altered the factory product. Now, this doesn't have a warranty either because they have been custom painted, so keep that in mind. And in regards to paint actually sticking to the shoe, the sole plate is one thing because I think it's very difficult to get paint to stick to any sole plate, but with the upper, they actually do have kind of a special stripping process that allows the paint that they put on the upper to stick a little bit better than if you were to do it yourself. It's something that I suppose is a little bit secretive on their part. Kickasso Customs does this. This is their business, painting shoes, soccer cleats, sneakers. I think predominantly sneakers, but they know what they're doing. They've been doing this for a little while. So in regards to the paint actually sticking to the upper, I'm fairly confident that it will throughout a pretty good amount of use. So that is worth keeping in mind if you did down the line decide to purchase one of these custom painted shoes that they do from time to time. So with the actual Undead theme, I think they did a pretty good job in terms of kind of capturing the whole zombie idea here. You have the green zombie face, the green zombie hand, some blood splatter throughout the entire upper. The actual shoe itself has this combination of black and almost like a whitish gray kind of scattered throughout. I'm not sure what this specific pattern is supposed to be, but it looks pretty creepy. I'll definitely give them that. And they did a pretty good job. Both shoes are completely different. In fact, every single shoe is going to be completely different because, again, it is all handmade, hand-painted. So there are going to be little imperfections here and there. You can see some of the red leaked over, some of the overspray right there from when they actually did paint the shoe itself, but nothing too crazy and kind of something that's to be expected in any kind of handmade product. It's just not going to be 100% perfect. So again, you have blood all over the place. It's completely random on the shoe. Even here, the right shoe has this little yellow kind of biohazard symbol, which again kind of fits the zombie theme pretty well. And then the sole plate has been altered to have this kind of chrome red finish. I'm not sure if that's going to wear away over time. I assume that it will chip away fairly quickly, just because it's difficult to get paint to stick to such a high wear area, I guess. But nonetheless, still a very, very cool job. This originally started life as a dark space pack, X16 plus PureChaos, and you can see the only thing that is unaltered is the tech fit area and of course the inside of the shoe for obvious reasons. But other than the altering of the color, kind of giving it that custom look, this is still a very wearable pair of X16 plus PureChaos shoes. Again, the only thing that's going to be different is the look. So all in all, pretty cool job, very nice details. Hopefully you guys are getting a good idea of how clean this actually does look in person. Honestly, I think if you didn't know any better, you would think that this is just a regular colorway because it really is that well done. So let me know what you guys think of these down below in the comment section. Do you love them? Do you hate them? Why or why not? Would you wear them yourself? Let me know. And with that being said, let's move on to the tech specs so we can learn a little bit more about the overall performance. As far as performance is concerned, the PureChaos is a very capable shoe and actually my personal favorite on offer from the Adidas brand at the moment. Now, a couple misconceptions in regards to tech specs of this shoe. One being the fact that it does actually have laces. That hasn't been disclosed all that well in the technical information and even Adidas press releases. But you can see they're tucked here underneath what they call the prime cut lace cover, which we'll get into in just a second. And as a whole, the laces play a huge role in terms of securing your foot inside of the shoe and just having adequate lockdown in general. So the upper is what they call a tech fit upper. That's what the tech specs will read, but that's not necessarily the most clear thing. The tech fit upper area is actually this material that you see sticking out the sides at the back. Now this is an elasticated material that does extend to the inside of the shoe up until this particular seam. It cuts off right at this point. Then from there forward, you just have straight up synthetic. And then of course, over top of that, you have this prime cut collar, which is made from the same synthetic that you'll find at the front of the shoe. So you slide your foot inside of this opening, this material stretches, then compresses to your foot, almost giving you that kind of sock-like sensation. And then of course you have the laces underneath here, which you would kind of put your foot in, pull the two ends of the laces out, pull it tight, and basically what's happening is there's 3 nylon straps on either side that connect the laces to the actual shoe. Fairly shallow lacing system, but when you pull the laces tight, it really does a good job of kind of holding your foot in place and just securing it inside of the shoe in general. The rest of the upper, which is the part you actually see, is a synthetic material that is kind of unnamed in the tech specs, which is a little bit unusual to me, but it's a thinner synthetic, but it does have somewhat of a padded liner to it. So while you might expect kind of a super barefoot, super thin feel from this shoe, you don't necessarily get it. It's thin, but it's not overly thin like you get from, for example, a Mercurial Vapor 11. So keep that in mind. With that said, the touch you get is still very, very good. This does have some heavy texturing to the surface of the upper as well with this kind of tearing effect. It's a little bit hidden because this is a custom painted shoe, but still the texturing I would say is pretty much on par with what you'd find from a regular colorway, even though it has been custom painted. The one thing that I will say may impact something, but honestly I don't think is going to have much of an impact at all, is the fact that they did paint over the non-stop grip dots. So it's a little bit difficult to see, again, because they painted over them, but the non-stop grip dots would be Adidas's wet control element that I would assume wouldn't come into effect because there is paint over top of them. But even on a regular pair, I really don't think it's a feature that has any major impact on performance. I like the fact that the lace cover, which like I said, they do call the prime cut system, it's essentially just a shroud that covers up this tech fit area, just giving you a more consistent, I guess, texturing on the upper, and it does hide the laces, just giving you a kind of a cleaner touch and feel on the ball in general, even though it does technically add more material, but I really don't have any issues with it. You do, of course, move on to the back of the shoe where I guess they're kind of touting this as somewhat of a mid-cut design. It really isn't. It fits and feels like a low-cut shoe. You have these little extension pieces at the side, which don't have any impact on performance. And then, of course, you have the S-curve heel, which, again, is more of a looks thing than it is an actual performance feature. So just keep that in mind. Internally, you're going to find a synthetic suede liner with these little orange grip dots. They do a good job of actually gripping your heel and the sock, I suppose, and just keeping your heel locked in place when you pull the laces tight. The insole, fully removable. I'll give you guys a quick look at that. It features a mesh liner on top and then does have some perforations throughout. Single layer of this black foam, nothing too crazy, but it does get the job done. Then moving on to the sole plate, it does include a one-piece heel counter. This of course is a sprint frame construction, as you'll find on all the top end models from Adidas at the moment. TPU plastic construction, decent flexibility to it. The stiffener bars through the heel and midfoot. Then of course their FG-AG stud pattern that is specific to this particular shoe. You're going to find the same layout from the X16 and Messy lines, just the stud shape is a little bit different, and ultimately the performance I would say is pretty consistent across all three lines from the Adidas brand at the moment. The one plus is that you can wear it on both firm natural grass and artificial grass. So if you are looking to play on both of those surfaces but only want to buy one pair of shoes, technically all the current Adidas models of those three main lines that I just mentioned are capable of doing that. In terms of weight, the X16 Plus PureChaos is a pretty lightweight shoe. So for the sake of this video, I'm gonna weigh them for you today in real time using this scale. Keep in mind, this is a brand new pair in a size 9 US. I'm gonna throw them on the scale and you can see that they weigh in at 7.05 ounces, the equivalent of 200 grams exactly. So despite the custom paintwork, the shoe has not put on or shed any weight. It's the same weight as a standard colorway of the X16 Plus PureChaos. And again, it's a shoe that does provide a relatively lightweight feel on feet. You're right at the 7-ounce mark. There are lighter shoes out there, yes, but none feel quite like what you're gonna get from the PureChaos. So basically, if what I've described to you sounds like something that you would actually like, you're unlikely to have any issues with the weight of the shoe. All right, so here is a look at the X16 Plus PureChaos on feet. For those that are wondering, the custom paintwork on the surface of the upper and on the sole plate has had absolutely no impact on the fit and feel of the shoe. As far as how these things fit and feel though, very comfortable shoe out of the box. You're gonna find that the upper, especially in the forefoot area where it is kind of independent of that Tech Fit system, the material is soft, it's flexible, it moves nicely with your foot. The Tech Fit system through the midfoot and running through the heel fits really nicely as well. You get your foot inside the shoe and it has this nice snug wrap, and then when you pull the laces tight, it does do a pretty good job of securing your foot in place. Like I mentioned though, the lacing system is fairly shallow, so if you really like a super tight fit, other than the midfoot area, especially in the forefoot toe box, you don't necessarily get it from this particular shoe just because, again, the laces don't necessarily span that big of a distance on the top of your foot. It's a fairly small amount of coverage. Nonetheless, the security when the shoe is on your foot is very good. It's not slipping around or anything like that. As far as width is concerned and just the general fit, it's a tighter fitting shoe, but not overly tight. Nothing in comparison to something like a Mercurial Vapor 11. It has a lot more width to it. I think they're gonna be suitable for most people. You're not gonna get a ton of stretch out of the upper, especially where you're gonna have that seam across the forefoot area. So for the most part, the way they fit out of the box is the way they'll fit for their entire lifespan. But again, I think they'll be suitable for most people as long as you don't have super wide feet. As far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and length is absolutely perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair of these for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. All right, guys, that is it for my review of these Kickasso Customs Undead themed Adidas X16 Plus PureChaos. If you guys would like to check out the review page on my website, there'll be a little eye in the corner of the screen, or you can look at the first link down below in the description of this video. And on that page, you will find the high quality images of this exact pair. That'll give you a better idea as to how they actually do look in person. If you have any questions regarding this shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. If you enjoyed today's video, found it helpful and informative, be sure to support it with a like. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information linked in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.